So, Danny and Ahmareen, firstly, a warm welcome to you both on Filme Shilmy. I'm absolutely thrilled. I think this is your first time actually doing an interview together as a couple. So, I'm very honored that you gave me this opportunity. So, thank you so much, first of all, for joining me.
Most welcome. Most welcome.
Yeah, we were really looking forward to this.
Oh, wonderful. Well, look, I mean, a happy new year is in order to you both. And I think 2023 has been a great start. I think, Ahmareen, I'm going to begin with you. I mean, I'm sure you probably have done so many media interviews, because obviously your film RRR, the film that you starred in, has literally been making waves globally. It's been a historic win at the Golden Globes. To be a part of such a momentous film and to play a role which really does fight and address colonialism and the checkered past of India, how important was it for you?
It was actually, I remember the first time I heard the character and they explained the plot line to me. I was like, really, you want me to play this character? Because it's not only a combination of somebody who's representing a tribal group, which is the Gone tribe, it is also a mother, the character of a mother. So those two combinations are really strong together when you put them together. So I was very, very excited when they told me this is your character. You are very subdued. You live your life in a very simple way. All of that is there. You don't bother anybody. But the moment you feel any kind of oppression, and especially when somebody takes a mother's child away, that is the worst thing you can do to a mother. And that's where the transformation of the character happens. So that was a very, very strong point for me, because in a matter of 4 minutes I'm getting to play a character which is extremely vulnerable, but yet she will not take any kind of oppression. She will fight back for that.
Definitely, and I think that spirit definitely came through. Danny, it's very ironic as well because you did a series called Vidrohi, who is on the opposite side of what Ahmareen's character was in RRR. Obviously, you play a sepoy in that series, and obviously slightly antagonistic in comparison.
Yeah, it actually got me, a lot of fan following. So, people really appreciated my performance in the show. The producers, the writers, when we had the premiere of the first episode, Ahmareen came with me. This is before we were married. And even the writers are coming up to us and saying, the way we wrote the character and the way you're portraying it is something that we didn't expect. So, you've done a complete justice. So, yeah, it really, if anything, actually, it really helped me grow as an actor, because the thing with TV, Anuj, is they give you the scenes there and then, and sometimes they're long, long scenes with loads of Hindi dialogues. You give it to me in English, easily give me 5 minutes, I'll be fine. But Hindi is not my mother tongue; it's still my second language.
Yeah.
So just getting used to that, it's amazing how your brain adapts to these kind of stressful situations. Because after about a couple of days, you give me like 3, 4 scenes, I was like learning the lines just like that. You know what I mean? So in terms of professionally, yeah, it got me a lot of fun following. A lot of people appreciated my performance. It got me out there in terms of the TV world. And personally, as an actor, it improved my performance and my method of learning lines and basically just going to the set like with 5 minutes of preparation time given to me.
That's incredible. I think definitely spontaneity is one of the key aspects of working on television. I think that's something that I've gauged over time, having done interviews with actors who have worked prominently on that platform. But I think for you guys as well, one thing that I have noticed about you both is that, of course, you are doing great work, but it's not been easy. I think if the word I can use for you both is hustlers, that's definitely something which is very much a testament to your journey so far. Ahmareen, people now know you as Loki from RRR, right? But before that, you've done so many other films and other works before that. When you look back now at that journey and think back to when you began, how would you summarize the challenges that you faced along the way?
uh, if I have to summarize the challenges, there's still a lot of challenges. It's not over. But it does get better, because the more projects you do, the more visibility you get. And especially for me, I have done such different parts. You cannot say that she did the same role twice. I've done such different parts. If you see Sir, it was a very different character. If you see Tottaa Pataaka, very different. Devi or Hero, very different. Class of 83, extremely different. RRR was completely different. So my career graph, if I look back and the choices I've made, I'm actually happy, because there was a lot of work which was coming my way, but I wasn't really into those scripts.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe in those characters, and I felt that those characters were not important enough to the plot line. So I've given up on a lot of work, and it's very difficult as an actor to give up on work, because you're either doing 1 or 2 projects a year, and out of that also, if you have to choose and just sit at home and not do anything, it's very difficult. But I'm happy. Whatever challenges I faced, whatever struggle was there, it's all worth it, because anybody looks back at my career graph, they'll say that the kind of work she's done is really great. So I don't regret any part of the struggle as of now.
Definitely. And I think same question for you, Danny, actually, because you're from Birmingham. And I think the way you've sort of transitioned from UK to India, I mean, I think to settle in is quite challenging, because obviously the lifestyle is very different to how we're used to in the UK. How tough was it for you to adjust, and especially the working system of the film industry there? I mean, it's a bit of a circus. So how did you get used to that?
Well, see, because I've got relatives in India, especially in Mumbai, so I've been coming and going over the years. So, I know how the country is like, the weather and, yeah, the pollution, wherever, the surroundings. I know all of that. I'm used to all of that stuff. But yeah, the work shock was different, because I'll give you an example. You go to an audition in England, yeah? You have an appointment time. You go there. It's just your slot. You're in the room, maybe with the director, definitely, the casting director, and possibly the producer. When I came to my first audition, when I gave my first audition here, I see a queue of people, right, outside, like 50, 60 people, right? And like, okay, this is an audition for this commercial, right? They go, yes.
Yeah.
I said, these are all the people. They go, yeah. Okay. How do you know, like, who's number 1, who's number 2? Like, where's the sheet with the names? They go, yeah, there's a sheet going around somewhere, scrumpled up piece of A4 paper getting passed around.
Oh my
Put
God.
your name on there.
Yeah.
When they open the door, forget the queuing system, everyone just barges in. So I was like, okay. Now, in England, you've got 3 people looking at your performance, yeah, looking at your audition. Here, not only are you performing in front of the casting director, but also your potential competitors. There's about 20, 30 people behind the camera who you're in competition with, looking at you as you're performing, as you're giving an audition. And it can be very, very intimidating. You need to have like a lot of brass to be able to deal with that, especially when Hindi is not your mother tongue, and you still, because when I first came, I still had like a really heavy, what's that word I'm looking for? Thick accent when I was speaking Hindi. So it's improved now. So then you got people laughing, and then you're thinking, oh my God, am I doing something wrong? Am I saying something wrong? So that was the thing at the beginning. That was really hard for me to adjust to, just all the people, the eyes that are on you. But like with anything, the more times you do it, you get used to it. You adapt to it, and now it's like a walk in the park. But I tell you one thing though, the advantage of working in the Indian film industry, in England, you need an agent. Yeah, you need to be on something called Spotlight, right? Here, you can just walk into any office where they're auditioning, and just say, "Hey, I saw that you're auditioning. Do I fit the brief? Can I audition?" And if you do, they'll be like, "Yeah, come on in, audition." So you don't have to go through that whole ring up your agent and saying, "Oh, I've heard about this. Can you put my profile forward?" You can just walk in. So it's more accessible. So that's one of the pluses.
Definitely. Accessibility is very important. But again, Danny, it's very interesting because you've played foreigners in a lot of contents. So I think a few contents anyway. Again, when you sort of play such characters in an Indian back project, how does that make you really I guess introspect on your identity as well? Because see, you're an Indian, but you've sort of been born and bred in UK, like how I am.
Yeah, it's a bit weird when you're kind of beating up Indian people in a show, but you're Indian yourself, but then you're mouthing English dialogues in an English accent. So it was strange the first couple of weeks, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, it's a job, right? That's one of my unique selling points of being here. Okay, maybe my appearance, I look maybe British enough to play this kind of character. I understand the language, I understand the meaning behind the text and all that stuff. So for me, I don't really feel that my identity is in crisis, or do you know what I mean? For me, it's a job. So this is a job that they've offered me, and this is a job that I know I can do complete justice to. So yeah, it was at first it was a bit odd, but that's the way it is. If that's the work that's coming your way, and it's a good work also. I'm not just saying it for the sake of it, but it's good work also. So it's just an advantage for me, and it's a positive thing for me.
And I also think it's Danny's credibility that every different British officer that he's made every character into a very different character. So you can't say that all are British officials. You see, like Main is very different from
Saragari,
from your Vidrohi show, and Bose is also again very different. So
Bose is also different.
That's a good actor.
Yeah, wow. If she's saying it, Oscar, part of an Oscar-nominated film, then.
Oh, that's really sweet.
The good thing was I didn't know much about the South when I was shooting about the film, so I wasn't very intimidated. I did know about Rajamouli sir because Bahubali was a huge success, but I wasn't intimidated or anything. When I was on set, I was excited, but I didn't have too much information. I knew what the character was like, but lines and everything I got on set only. So I was a little bit worried because I had to say my lines in Telugu. But the brilliance of Rajamouli sir is that he will not try to force out the character from you. He will just guide you in the perfect way, and then you will somehow end up giving your best performance. I don't know how that has happened because I've worked with so many directors. So he'll just guide you in the right way, and then no matter what, like every take I was giving, I remember that shouting take where I shout Malli, which was a part of the trailer also. I did about 11, 12 takes of that, and every take was better than the previous take. Wow. Because I was so engrossed in the character, and people were asking me after that, isn't your throat hurting? Aren't you feeling unwell? I said, no, I was just so into the moment, that I was just performing, and I didn't feel anything else. I was feeling the pain that Loki would feel in that moment. So that's the brilliance of Rajamouli sir. He created the environment like that. Everybody on set knows what they're doing. Everybody on set knows what they want from each other. The synchronization is brilliant. The way he directs every department to work together in sync is just absolutely brilliant. And when you are on his set, you feel this urge from inside to give your best performance. So it was like one of the most fulfilling performances for me as an actor, and I think it's going to be for a long time.
Right. How has life changed for you post that film? Do you feel like you're now being approached for a lot more work? Do you feel like people are now recognizing, oh, Ahmareen Acha wo RRR wali? Do you kind of feel like people are now suddenly reacting to you differently because of this success?
Yeah, definitely. I have received a lot of popularity post the release of the film, and especially with now the global reach and everything, a lot of people are contacting me and congratulating me. The funny part is actually because I look so different in real life that a lot of people couldn't understand it was me playing the character. So a lot of people didn't understand, and they were like, "You played it?" I was like, "Yeah, I played it."
So when we were back in England last year, she was doing something there, a particular project, right? We had an activity at a school, and the teachers there were talking about, oh, I saw RRR, what a brilliant film. I said, oh, do you know my wife? She was in it. And she's like, who does she play in it? I said, the mother at the beginning. And the teacher looked at Ahmareen. She almost screamed in the canteen. She was like, oh my God. I went up to her, hugged her, and said, you were so great in that. I was really feeling your pain. Oh my God, you're brilliant. So that was amazing.
Yeah, so I think, of course, because RRR is such, the reach of the film has been so massive that people from all over the world are recognizing my work. Even in the industry, people are appreciating a lot. And definitely now the kind of scripts I'm getting or the roles that are being offered are more meatier than before, because earlier people didn't know my potential as an actor. But now if they look up RRR, then they go to my IMDb, they see what all work I've done, and then they realize, okay, she's done a lot of different characters. So RRR did put me at that spot where people now know who Ahmareen Anjum is and what she's capable of.
Yeah, I mean, well deserved as well, let me tell you that.
Thank
I think the same
thank
goes for you, Danny, as well. I mean, you've got such a wonderful body of work behind you. I think one thing that I love about Danny as well, that, this guy can do he can do historical genres, he can do rom-coms. When it comes to essaying these different characters, Danny, what would you say is a reference point in your life? Because you have the script, but then acting has to come from within. And then I think I'm going to ask that same question to Ahmareen as well.
Basically, you know what? Whatever emotion the character's feeling, I just because I'm not going to give my age away, but I'm not a young chicken anymore. Do you know what I mean? Young spring chicken. I've had a lot of life experience. I've seen a lot in the world, especially in this industry. Like it can really get you down to your knees, right? So I just access those memories, however painful they may be, to just kind of feel that emotion. And if the character's someone totally different from me, when I'm shooting, it's just one of the same. Danny's that character. That character is Danny.
Mm.
So it can be a bit of a painful process because sometimes you do really need to go deep inside to kind of get that out, get that emotion out that's required for that particular scene.
Yeah.
So, but I think with me, it's because a lot of the life experience, because I've seen a lot, it's just easy for me to kind of just look within and just pick out moments and just sit with that moment for a few minutes and just go back to, okay, how did I feel? How was my body feeling? How was I feeling inside? Do you know what I mean? And then just channel that in. So, and that comes with experience also, being on set, working in different genres, working with different directors, working with different co-actors. All of that really amalgamates to help you to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing a new project. I can't really speak about that as of yet, but hopefully, God willing, soon, Anuj, when it's announced, I'll give you a call and I'll tell you straight away.
I'll be
But
waiting.
there's one, and that was like my second day of shoot, and there's one scene, intense scene, where because the character that I'm playing, I can't really show much of my emotions. Like I really want to break down and cry, but I can't. It's basically like you're on the verge of breaking down, but you got to hold yourself back. I'm sure we've all been there, when you're somewhere and like there's people around you, you really want to bawl your eyes out, but you can't. You have to control yourself. So I'll be honest. I went back into my previous relationship that I had, that I've been in, leaving my family back at home. My mother, she's not been too well as of late. So just
So sorry.
accessing that feeling kind of like guilty, that man, I'm here. Maybe I should be back home there and just, helping out with the family and stuff. So all those things to kind of bring up that emotion, but then I have to stop it because in that scene I can't really show that I'm crying. But once the camera, when the director said cut, it was really hard for me to kind of get out of that zone because I accessed so many kind of different memories and situations that weren't that positive, that it does take a bit of time for you to kind of get out of it. I remember when it was like the last shot of the day, the director said, pack up. I just left, man. I didn't say anything to anyone. I just left, got changed, and I just drove off. So
a lot out of you. Ahmareen, again, even though, you mentioned again the description of that role that you did, but for you to dig into a part of you where, क्योंकि आप किसी को आप अपने को देख रहे हो कि वो जा रहा है, जबरदस्ती ले जा रहा है, तो वो सेंटिमेंट को कैप्चर करने के लिए what is the main reference point for you as an actor? Surely you must also have to reach into some very darker place in your life too, right?
So actually, for me, it doesn't work that way. For me, it's more like I always am the character. So I never look at anything that has happened personally in my life. I try to imagine my character. So I create a backstory of the character. I know what's happened in her life. I know if this is taken from her, how she would react. Because it's not Ahmareen reacting, it's the character reacting. The way I would react, because I'm a very like Danny's an extrovert, but I'm an introvert. I don't show emotions. I don't talk much. I'm just, happy, just me with my cat. I'm very happy. So when I play very different characters, and most of my characters have been very far from the real Ahmareen, I don't channel. That doesn't work well for me. So I try and imagine my character, what the character has gone through, what the character will be feeling in the moment, and what would be the impact of this particular situation in her life later. So, like past, present, and future. That's what I channel and then, feel that emotion.
Everyone has their own technique.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I'm sure there's somebody else that, they can just like do whatever and it comes and they can
whatever
snap out of it.
best works for actors. And I think we have even figured that out with every performance, that, this works better than that. Then we try to implement that in the next role.
Mm-hmm. But like I was saying earlier as well about this industry being a circus, I know a lot of close friends that have tried to make acting as a career in India. Unfortunately, they've had to put their dreams on hold and pursue something else because of how ruthless and cutthroat the business is there. I've heard stories firsthand, some very ghastly stories actually. But for you guys, in terms of the experiences you've had, rejections, obviously you guys must have faced so many of them. But what happens at that point to you when you literally, like you said, Danny, when you're literally on your knees, and you feel like everything around you is crashing? How do you stay stable-headed at that point?
For me, I'm quite a spiritual person, so I do a lot of meditation and stuff. That really helps me when I'm going through such low phases. But then another thing also is because I've been part of this industry for a long time. You used to do acting back in England and stuff, so I know that part and parcel of this game is that 99% of the time you're going to get rejected, right? Do you know what I mean? So you kind of build up like an inner resistance to it. It only hurts you when you feel like you've done a real good audition, and even people are saying, you know what, this is what we're after, this is what we wanted, and yeah, we're going to push for you. But then you don't get it, and then you see somebody else doing that role, and you think, hang on a second, I did it 1,000 times better than him. So why did he get the role, or why did she get the role? That's the only time when you kind of feel that injustice. Like, come on, man, like the wrong person, got the part. Do you know what I mean? But it's also your circle of friends as well. Like, you need to have a strong support system.
Yeah.
I'm quite blessed. I've got
family
Ahmareen,
also.
I've got family here.
Yeah.
There's other people that have come from villages, different parts of India, where they've got nobody, right? And they're like living in like a paying guest house with like 10 other people, right? They're all strangers. When they're facing that kind of stuff, it's more harder for them. Like for me, at least I've got my wife now, I've still got family here. Even if I wasn't married, my family's still here. So I could go to them, if I needed some support, if I needed some encouragement. So looking at it like that, it is difficult, but I've been quite lucky and quite blessed actually.
Yeah, I think family support is really very important, because I still remember when I used to get really depressed in the beginning. I used to give a lot of auditions, really good auditions. People are saying, we've not seen an actress like you, you're brilliant, this and that, and then you don't get the part. So I used to call up my mom and dad, and they used to tell me this thing that, don't do anything which you feel is not right for you. Don't do a part which you feel is not going to justify you as an actor. So wait for the right part. Don't get desperate. Don't get impatient. When you feel like this is the right project for me, do it. Even if you have to wait for 8 months, 10 months, it's okay. Talk to us. We are there. Just don't rush into anything which you would regret later. So that family support, a strong friend circle, is also very important. And apart from that, I think the suggestion I would like to give to budding actors is that you just cannot depend on acting. You need to have a backup plan. So get educated first, have a degree at least. Even if you're not getting acting gigs right now, it's much easier for them, because you just have to record auditions from home. You don't have to stand in the queue we used to stand with 50 other people. Yeah. So, do anything related to the field also. You can become an assistant, you can be on set, you can, just train yourself in skills, maybe learn dancing or go do theater. You can do anything which will hone you as an actor, rather than just sitting at home and thinking, oh, I didn't get that part. So every time I haven't gotten something, I have become a part of something which will make me better as an actor. So when I do get the opportunity, I can give my best.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to budding actors out there who, may face or have perhaps faced exploitation? What would you think is the right way that we, as not just as artists, as not just in terms of the industry, but as artists as well, what can we collectively do to tackle it?
Exploitation can be on various levels. You can get underpaid. It can be sexual exploitation. It can be a monetary in nature also, because a lot of people demand money to launch you. So exploitation happens on various levels. The only thing that I would advise budding actors right now is to not fall in this trap. Be very careful about the kind of people you're meeting. with the growth of social media, which we didn't have when we started, and IMDb, everything is there. Whoever is calling you for whatever, look up that person, see whether that person is genuine or not. When you go meet that person also, if you get even a hint of something wrong, the wrong vibe, basically, if you do get that, then just run away, because most of the times what happens is the things you're promised in exchange for whatever exploitation will never come true anyway. So you will feel defeated at the end of it all, because your self-respect will go down. You will not feel the best. You would want to leave the line. So rather take the path which is more difficult, of course, because you have to go through a lot of rejections, auditions. But when you struggle the right way for so many years, then you will definitely reach somewhere if you have the talent. Because I still remember the first year when I was here, there were so many people who tried approaching me, and I have been in very difficult situations. I've spoken about this also much earlier when the Me Too happened and everything. I was in such difficult situations, but because I come from a city and I have that much sense that, okay, this person is not right, this person is wrong, then I have run away, and I've had friends who supported me and everything. I have felt devastated. I have felt so many times, no, I don't want to work in an industry which is like this. But then I realized there's only 20% of those people. There are 80% of the people who are genuine and are doing good work. It's just that the access is not that easy and nobody's there to guide me. So I don't know where to meet those people. So it took me about 1.5, 2 years to figure out, okay, this is the right set of people. They're doing good work. And these are the people who are looking for desperate budding actors, and who they can trap and then promise a lot of things, but at the end of the day they will be left with nothing.
I'll give you an example. I've heard stories. If a casting guy, I said, yes, meeting karte hain na, so raat ko 11 baje mere office aa jana. So if someone's calling you at 11 o'clock at night for a meeting in your office, they're not going to be meeting you about work. It's going to be about some other arrangements.
Women, but also
men as well. Men aren't saying that. A lot of people here,
no, but also your British accent.
And my British accent as well. When I start talking, they get a bit intimidated. You know what I mean? So that they can't try anything fishy with me. Now, what it is, the problems here, casting directors, like major, famous casting directors that are casting for the projects and stuff. When people see them, they get up and go, "Sir, kaise hain, sir, mujhe kaam dilwajiye." I was like, and I'm thinking, why are you disrespecting yourself? That person is a professional. You're a professional. Why are you doing all this and touching his feet? Be professional. Don't reek of desperation. Because if you give that scent out, then people are going to take advantage of it. And that's one thing that I never did. Right? I never came across as desperate. I always used to present myself, and I still do in a professional manner. So rather than going, sir, I go, my name's Sura. I'm an actor from England. I've done these many projects, blah, blah, blah. Can I have an email address and share my IMDb page with you? And if there's any audition opportunities, please let me know. See the difference? Rather than said, you know what I mean? Right? Because I come with that vibe, no one's ever really, in terms of sexually or a casting couch, they never tried to exploit me. But as Ahmareen said, money-wise, it's very, very difficult because we haven't got any union here. There's no union like you've got back in England, which is really, really strong. It protects you. If you're getting paid less and not the standard rate, you can put a case on them. Here, it's not like that. Here, they're saying, yes, we're offering this much, and it's peanuts. So I get exploited a lot that way in terms of the money that I should be getting, but I'm getting offered like 50, 60% less, irrespective of the work that I've done. As opposed to somebody who's got a famous surname, like a Kapoor or a Khan or whatever, right? They haven't done anything, but when they get launched in their films, they're getting paid almost like
50, 60 lakhs,
60, 70 lakhs, and they haven't done anything. It's just because of the surname.
There has to be a balance. We as people who are outsiders, we don't have a problem even if you launch a star son or a star daughter, as long as you give that equal opportunity to somebody who doesn't have a famous surname. So balance it out. Like if in one film a production house is launching 2 star kids, and the next one launch 2 newcomers. So if you balance that out, then nobody will have a problem, and give everybody equal pay. Don't be like, I'll give 50 lakhs to the newcomers and 1 lakh to the outsider just because they don't have any
links.
So I think if they make it a fair play, then nobody will have a problem. But the problem is only happening when you're launching 10 Star Kids and you don't see any outsider being launched. So that is an issue here.
If I was launched in a big production banner film and I flopped, they wouldn't work with me again. They wouldn't give me another film. No, I'll be like, okay, well, you had your chance, son. Sorry, didn't work out.
Yeah, I think it's that cushion that I think that comes with it as well when you are backed by a certain entity within the industry. But I'm glad you mentioned the word balance, Ahmareen, because I think when it comes to acting and I think life generally, balance होना बहुत जरूरी होता है. And I think हम experience के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, where you have to sort of delve into that and then bring that out as actors. You two being together, so it's a two-part question really. How do you both balance each other out, in terms of personality-wise and all of that? And secondly, how do you think that also helps you in your craft as well, in terms of creating new experiences and being inspired by those?
I just balance Danny out. He doesn't do anything. No, you take that answer first.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, like she said, she's an introvert. I'm an extrovert. So in terms of personality types, we're the polar opposite. And I think that's why it balances it out, because she's at one end and I'm at the other, and somehow we kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah.
And that's where the balance comes from. Now, in terms of because we've only been married for like almost 6 months, so it's relatively new. So in terms of like the experiences and stuff, there's a lot of experience to come yet. But in terms of when I'm auditioning and she's helping me or recording my audition, the performances that I can give when she's behind the camera, she always gets the best out of me, no matter how much I complain. Like, no, this is fine. She'll keep on pushing me, which I'm going to admit now, I don't do. I'm guilty of that, because I think she's such a great actress. When she's done it, I think, yeah, it's fine. She goes, no, tell me, I could do something else.
Some input how to make this better. You're behind the camera. And he said, no, it was perfect. No.
Yeah.
But but like a little bit different to what you're asking. I think the main thing, there's a support system here now. So if she's feeling down, or if we went for a gig which we didn't get, we're there to like pick each other up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's very, very important.
Yeah, being from the same industry does have its benefits, because our job is very different from the 9 to 5 job. It's not like every day you're going to office and coming back. So we have times when he's working, then I'm all alone, or I'm working, he's all alone. Or there are times when both of us are working. There are times when none of us are working. And there are times when working hours are very weird. So if you have somebody who understands the profession really well, you don't have to explain anything. You know how to support each other in tough moments, happy moments, everything. So that becomes really easy. And I think with Danny being around me personally, I feel that because I get very anxious around a lot of things, but he's brought in that calmness in my life where, he's there. He's like, okay, just relax. Everything is going to be fine. So that has really helped me a lot, because when I was staying alone for almost 5 years, especially COVID hit and all of that, my anxiety levels had increased a lot. And after we got married and started staying together, you have this person who will, at the end of the day, be by your side to support you in good times, bad times, everything.
That's so sweet. Coming back to the favorite topic of everyone right now, RRR. The film has literally gone global, and I think this is also a very important subject that I wanted to touch upon. Is that there's two ways that people are looking at this film's success, very honestly. Number one, finally Westerners are acknowledging Indian cinema, not just for Hindi films, but also for the non-Hindi movies too. And the fact that they're also acknowledging colonialism and the sheer brutality that the country has gone through, which perhaps they didn't do as much before than they are doing now, which is one thing of looking at it, of Indian cinema going global, finally getting acknowledged. And number two is also, why is this film trying to seek validation from the West? Now, these are the two perspectives that I have noticed. And I'm sure, Ahmareen, you've also noticed that as well. I'm sure, Danny, you've also seen that too. What is your reaction to both of these aspects?
I think it went global when Lagan was entered into the Oscar thing back then, because so I don't think I think when Lagan happened, for me that was India cinema's been recognized.
Yeah. And it was
Because that was
nominated as well.
yeah, it was a massive thing, and it was such a brilliant film also, which captured like the brutality of what the East India Company did, but also they showed like the rural India also. Do you know what I mean? So for me, India cinema was recognized when that happened.
Mhm.
So and I think for RRR to be what it is now, Lagan, that had to happen with Lagan. I don't think if Lagan was there, because it's kind of like a reference point, isn't it? They've seen Lagan, they've seen like, okay, this is an Indian film. If that didn't make the noise that it made and the accolades that it got, I don't think RRR would have been what it is now. And even Slumdog Millionaire, it's an English film, but it's based in India, right? And that won the Oscar and stuff. So I think that brought the focus on India, or maybe Mumbai as a city and stuff. So
yeah, but it was more of a patronizing depiction, if I'm honest. Like,
yeah,
frankly, like at least with RRR, I think, for me personally, I'm actually just so glad that it represents our actual indigenous culture and the actual
yeah,
even now,
100%. Yeah.
so the people who say that why is the film trying to seek Western validation? What would you say to those skeptics?
I don't know. I don't know why people say such stuff, because you're just trying to bring cinema down altogether. It's just it's, if you consider this whole world and the cinema industry that's there, appreciating good cinema from any part of the world is a boon for all of us, and especially during COVID times, we have seen so much of South Asian films, Korean films, Indian films. People are seeing. We are also seeing a lot of different language films. So rather than saying that this is great that we are getting to see a lot of different cultures, languages, traditions, people are saying, why are you seeking Western validation? So I don't think that makes any sense, because at the end of the day, Golden Globes or Oscars, they are one of the most prestigious awards in the world. And they are also trying to give credit to cinema from all across the world. People who have done who have made different kind of content, people who are trying to put their culture forward. So rather than saying that why do you need validation, you should just say that oh, that's great, we got to see something which is very different from what we are seeing here. So the tradition that's there, the dance that's there, the culture that's there, Gaunt, I am sure a lot of people didn't even know about the Gaunt tribe existing. So a lot of things you've gotten to know through this particular film. And the best part about is that it was true to its roots. The emotions were there, the relationships were there, but the roots were also there, the culture was also there. So you should really, really appreciate what world cinema is becoming now. I would use the term world cinema, because we want people to see good content. We want to see a lot of good content as audiences, and different content. And how will that happen? Only when you have cinema from all over the world.
Yeah,
I think what it is also with RRR, because I think the impact that it's made is because of the story also. Remember, it's all about the story. Now, the scenes and stuff is like really like over the top, out of this world. But there's a reason why those scenes are done that the way it is, the way it's directed that way, the way it's been choreographed. And I think even though you got Marvel and you got all these things, audiences just haven't seen stuff like this on the big screen. Because do you know what I'm trying to say? Because it is out there, and you might think that it doesn't look believable, but a part of you thinks that, yeah, man, like you're just engrossed in it. You're captured by the emotions in it. You see, and it's a combination of everything: the music, the acting, the story, right? And I think that's what's really brought people from the West, to make them fall in love with RRR. And can I just go back for the validation thing? They're not, for me, it's a cause for celebration. Do you know what I mean? Your film has been recognized on a global scale, and they didn't need it because it's made like gazillion dollars at the box office. Right? It doesn't need that. They don't need validation for anything. But it's a cause for celebration. You're representing your country. You're representing your region. It's the Telugu film, right? You're representing that also. So you're showing your beauty to the outside world.
Yeah.
It's not about validation or anything. You're sharing with the world, man, where you come from.
I think that's the thing, Indian cinema, I think both very well said. I think that Indian cinema generally has become one entity now. And I think it's so great that whether it's Hindi or anything else. I think if there's anything that the audiences have wanted is the Indianness that was perhaps missing in the
Yeah.
film. I think what RRR, like you said, Danny, what it does, it kind of adds that escapism aspect, like you mentioned, the Marvel films, and then also it brings that historical and cultural aspects as well, which is also very rooted. I think I agree with you on that. But on a parting note, what can we look forward to from you both next?
I'll let you take. You can
Go on,
take it. Go
Ahmareen.
on.
Ahmareen, spill the
Go
beans.
on, Ahmareen.
Need an exclusive.
You talk about your projects that are releasing this year first.
Oh, okay. So I've got 3 films releasing this year. One is called IB71 with Vidyut Jamal. That's going to
Wow.
be releasing sometime this year. Footprints on Water with Mr. Adil Hussain. Veer Das Project, which is going to be releasing this year also. And then this one that I've just signed up for, which I've just started shooting. So 4 things really, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of.
And I can't give the names. I wish I could, but I'm not allowed to yet because they haven't announced it apart from IB71 and Footprints on Water. But a good thing is each and every role that I've done is different. So you're not going to see me as like you see me in other stuff. It's completely different, every single character.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. What about you, Ahmareen?
Even I don't think I'm allowed to say the name yet. But I was filming for this project for the last whole year, and we finished shooting in December.
Where? In England as well, you shot?
In England as well, yeah.
Oh.
We shot in England for about 1.5 months. So this is a very different character from what I've played. Very, very different. And I had a lot of fun playing this character, and should release. It's a Netflix original, I can tell you that.
Wow.
And it should release sometime later this year. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Sural में जाके shooting की और वो भी Netflix के लिए. Not bad. Very nice.
Just after my marriage. So the schedule was like that I got married and the shoot was supposed to happen. So I got my visa sorted, everything from the production. I was like, this is the best Sasural visit that could ever happen.
Yeah.
And showed everything. Took her to Nando's. I said, you got to try Nando's.
Oh.
Took her to Nando's. Gave her fish and chips and all that stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
So you got to try all this stuff.
Yeah, trust me, once you live the London life, now आप यहाँ के हो जाओ. That's the beauty about both the Indian and the British life, is that जब आप यहाँ पर आ जाते हो या वहाँ जाते हो, आप बस हो जाते हो वहाँ के. You just immerse yourself in that culture. I think you both definitely beautifully represent that. And I think it's been so wonderful to have you both on Filme Shilmy. Honestly, I think it's just been so valuable to hear your experiences, your journeys within the industry, and sort of branching yourselves as actors and finding yourselves, I think, has been a very important theme as well. So thank you so much, guys, for joining me on Filme Shilmy. It's been such a pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks so
Anuj.
much.
It was a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine. Thank you.